How's everybody doing? Fantasy Joe back with my running back values. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out a bunch of my other videos, new stuff coming your way. Just dropped wide receiver values, busts, sleepers, rankings, all that good stuff. Bunch of it already on the channel, mock drafts that drop every Monday. So hit that subscribe button, stick around. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. Helps out the algorithm, all those likes and comments, so I appreciate you guys. But let's hop into these values. Okay, so number one, we've got down here at RB10 going in the third round of drafts, Rhamondre Stevenson. Stevenson, I think, is a value where he's going currently, considering he finishes the RB11 last year in half-point PPR, had the third most running back targets, and finished with 69 receptions. Great work through the air, and when you consider all of that, and now that Damian Harris is gone, I think there's going to be even an uptick for Rhamondre in overall work, especially on the ground. He had 210 carries last year. I think he gets close to that 250 number. I think that receiving work stays pretty similar to what it was last year, especially when you consider the wide receivers that the Patriots have on their current roster. Not a whole lot of options. I think Rhamondre will soak up a lot of those targets. I think the offense will be much better this year now that they bought in Bill O'Brien. And like I said, Rhamondre finished last year as the RB11 overall, and he only had 6 touchdowns. Based off the amount of carries, he should have been carries and targets. He should have been looking at double-digit touchdowns. I expect him to get there in 2023, and if you can get him in the third round, stacking him with maybe a CMC and a Garrett Wilson at the top of your drafts, I think he's excellent value. I think he's a guy who's going to be consistently giving you points each and every week. He was always cracking that double-figure number with his pass catching, just a reliable RB2. I think he's going to score a lot more touchdowns this upcoming season. Draft him in round 3 of your drafts. Okay, next up on our RB values, I have Aaron Jones down here currently going as the RB15. And that might not seem super low, but you have to consider context here. Aaron Jones consistently going the back of the third round of drafts, beginning of the fourth round. The last 4 seasons has finished as an RB1 every year. He was the RB9 last year with only 2 rushing touchdowns, but that doesn't mean Aaron Jones wasn't efficient. He averaged 5.3 yards per carry and had a career high of 59 receptions. He still has the juice, even though he's a little bit of an older back, and he's never gotten a crazy big workload in the past, but has still been very efficient and finished as an RB1 in fantasy football. This is a team with Jordan Love. I could see them running the ball even more in 2023 than they have in the past, and I think with their current wide receiver core, they've got options in Watson and Dobbs, although they're not proven. I think they're going to continue to rely on Aaron Jones. They drop a lot of stuff for him schematically to get the ball in open space in the passing game. I think that continues with Jordan Love. I think Aaron Jones is a good bet to be your RB2 and to outperform his draft position. He's a little bit more of a boom-bust guy, but where you're getting him, he doesn't have to be your RB1. A little bit of a different style than Rhamondre, but obviously you're getting him at an even bigger discount. But I really like Aaron Jones this upcoming season. The Packers also have the 8th ranked offensive line according to Pro Football Focus. That should be an even better unit than it was last year. They were banged up due to a lot of injuries, but Jones was still incredibly efficient. I expect him to maintain his efficiency this season, and yeah, see him as a great value where he's currently going at the back of the third round in drafts. Getting him as your RB2 or RB3 maybe even, depending on your team build. Next up, he's currently going as an RB17. We have Joe Mixon. He was the RB12 last year, and he only played 14 games. And here's the thing. Mixon, I think a lot of people were frustrated by his efficiency, but over the second half of the season, he was much, much more efficient. And still, when you look at the usage, he got 19.3 touches per game last season, had a career high in receptions. I think he's going to continue to be used in all facets of the offense. They brought in very little competition for him. Samaje Perine is now gone. At worst case, I think one of those guys steps up into that Samaje Perine role and gets utilized, but still, 19.3 touches for Joe Mixon last year with Perine in town. This is a high-powered offense, and you could get Joe Mixon in the 4th round of some drafts. Like I said, back of the 3rd, 4th round, you're getting him, and he's going to get a ton of touches, like I said, on just a high-powered offense. Last year, he had 28 carries inside the 5-yard line. That was second in all football. Only turned that into 5 touchdowns, though. I think that number could easily be, 8, 10 touchdowns this year if he gets similar usage, which I think he will. We think this offense is going to score a lot, and I think Joe Mixon is a good bet where he's currently going to outperform his ADP. Moving on to our next running back, we have Miles Sanders. currently going as the RB20. You can get him in most fourth rounds of your drafts. Like I said, just another great value. He signed a nice contract this year in Carolina when all these running backs were trying to get paid. 4-year, $25.4 million contract with $13 million guaranteed. Sanders has been efficient on the ground for his entire career, averaging 5 yards per carry throughout his career. He goes to a Panthers offense that should be solid at running the ball. We saw Deontay Foreman last year from week 7 on had the 4th most rushing yards in all of football. I also think that we'll see an increase in Miles Sanders' passing game usage. We saw Deuce Staley, who's a running back coach for the Panthers right now. He was with the Eagles when Miles Sanders caught 50 passes. Frank Reich also coached him there as well. I think they brought him in to be that guy that they can lean on with this rookie quarterback and Bryce Young in both the passing game and the running game. I think he finishes probably close to that 260 carry mark he was around last year with the Eagles. Might be slightly less efficient on a worse offensive line, but not a bad unit by any means. I think that passing game utilization goes up and he catches 40 to 50 passes. I think that boosts him up into that back of the RB1 range, top 15 to top 12 RB, something like that. Could be even better. But I think he's a safe bet based on the volume I expect him to receive, and I think he's a talented enough player to be efficient with the workload. Our last running back value in this video is Alvin Kamara, currently going as the RB29. The reason Kamara is on this list is because he's just been going so low, I think, with the suspension looming, but I think he only probably gets 1 to 2 games, something like that, and where he's currently going, you take the 2 games and then you plug him into your lineup every week after that, going as the RB29. Last year at 12.2 points per game, which would have been the RB13. And that was on a terrible offense when he finished with only 4 total touchdowns. I think a big reason his efficiency numbers have been going down has been the quarterback play for the Saints has just been so awful. Teams are sitting on Alvin Kamara in that run game, sitting on him in that screen game, all those things. But he's still being heavily utilized. He averaged 18.7 touches per game and is on pace for 65 catches last season. Might not be those crazy Alvin Kamara numbers you've gotten used to in the past, but he's still a guy where he's going currently in drafts. You can wait those 2 weeks and then plug him in as your RB2 and be happy with the volume he's getting each and every week. I think when you consider his usage and the improvements I expect the offense to make, I think he could have improved in both efficiency and touchdowns, which will obviously vault him up for fantasy football. He might not be the same player he was, but he's still going to be heavily utilized. And I expect him to produce for fantasy football and be a great return where he's currently going. I get him consistently in the 7th round of drafts. If you're drafting him in the 6th round when it all comes around to your draft season, I still think that's a good value, and I love taking Alvin Kamara home with me in the 6th round as my RB2 if I'm going a heavy wide receiver build or just haven't gotten a ton of RBs. Maybe it's my 3rd RB on my team. I think that's great value and a guy that you'll be able to lean on once the bullets start flying in your fantasy football leagues. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stick around for more videos. A bunch more good content is coming your guys' way. You guys are going to see it. So hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Smash that like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Fantasy Joe. See you guys next time.